Hello, everybody, and welcome to Youth Connect Friday, October the 15th. I'm Aiden.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Joshua.
I'm the Bros.
And I'm Jeffrey.
Happy Friday, everyone. I hope that you are excited for Youth Connect. If you've tuned into the show, or if you're new, we always start off with our video game of the week, which is part of video gaming news. I really want to talk to you guys about video game of the week. Now, this video game of the week we discussed before, but finally, 2 days ago, this game fully released on the Nintendo Switch, and this game is Metroid Dread. Oh, Metroid Dread is wants you to join the bounty hunter Samus Aran as she tries to escape a deadly alien world plagued by a mechanical menace. Upon investigating a mysterious transmission on planet ZDR, Samus faces a mysterious foe that traps her in this dangerous world. The remote planet has been overrun by vicious alien life forms and murderous robots called EMMI. Hunt or be hunted as you make your way through a labyrinth of enemies in Samus's most intense side-scrolling adventure yet. This game is quite fantastic because you can gain abilities and return to previous areas to find new areas and hidden upgrades like in classic Metroid gameplay. And Planet ZDR's sprawling map is home to many secrets to discover and powers to find. You'll need to prepare and evade and even destroy EMMI robots to overcome the dread plaguing ZDR. Now, I've seen this game. I am not really that much of a Metroid fan, but this game looks absolutely amazing. And it's a side scroller. Who doesn't love side scrollers? Because I know I do. So if you like side scrollers and if you like Metroid, I definitely hope that you try it out, or you know what, take a gander at it because it's really cool. Next up, though, we have Kevin, and Kevin has with us some local Canadian news and weather.
Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of Youth Connect. The time is now 3:32. I'm your host Kevin Aruja, but first we've got the headlines. Ontario reports 496 new COVID-19 cases and 2 more deaths. The risk is too high. Quebec delays vaccine mandate for health workers by 1 month. The federal court rejects Major Jen Fortin's bid to challenge removal as head of vaccine rollout. The US and to open border with Canada starting in early November. And Kyrie Irving skips COVID-19 jab and mentions himself for now. Ontario is reporting fewer than 500 new COVID-19 cases and 2 more deaths on Friday as the province released vaccine certificate QR codes that residents can use as proof of vaccination and non-essential businesses. The province logged 496 new infections today, up from 417 on Thursday, but down from 573 a week ago. So far, 87% of eligible Ontarians have received 1 dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and over 82% have received 2 doses and are considered fully vaccinated. The ministry said there are 265 patients with the virus in Ontario hospitals and 163 are in intensive care units. The latest numbers come as the province started to release vaccine certificate QR codes today that residents can use as proof of vaccination at non-essential businesses, including gyms, cinemas, and restaurants. After weeks of warning healthcare workers they would be suspended without pay if they were not vaccinated against COVID-19 by this Friday, Quebec Health Minister Christian Dubé on Wednesday granted a 1 month reprieve. Dubé says 14,000 healthcare workers in the public and private systems still aren't fully vaccinated, and it would be irresponsible to stick to the deadline because of the risk of labor shortages in an already strained system. Quebec first announced in August that healthcare workers had until October 15th to get vaccinated or face suspension without pay. The new deadline is November 15th, Dubé said, and while the government decided to give a break to unvaccinated workers, they will not be completed to spare new measures. Health workers are also facing pressure for their professional order to get vaccinated. On Tuesday, the orders have regulated licensed practical nurses and respiratory therapists said members who are not fully vaccinated by Friday would not be able to work. The decision follows similar moves by the order and regulated nurses and doctors, both of which have said they would suspend the license of unvaccinated members starting October 15th. The Federal Court of Canada has told Major Gen. Danny Fortin that the military grievance process as an appropriate avenue to address his claim that political interference led to his removal as head of the vaccine rollout. In a writing ruling released today, Justice and Mary MacDonald said the career soldier had not fully taken advantage of the Red Death mechanism already in place for members of the armed force. As a consequence, the justice has sided with federal lawyers and granted the government's request to strike down the application for a judicial review. He went to court to challenge the decision to remove him from his temporary role leading the vaccine rollout at the Public Health Agency of Canada. After the military decided to hand his case over to Quebec prosecutors, his lawyers argued his dismissal was due to political interference and were asking that their client be restored to his former position or to something equivalent. The United States will lift restrictions in its land borders with Canada and Mexico for fully vaccinated sovereign nationals in early November, ending historic curbs on non essential travelers in place since March 2020. To address the COVID 19 pandemic, two U.S. officials said on Tuesday the rules, which will be formally announced by Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas on Wednesday, will cover land borders and ferry crossings. They are similar but not identical to planned requirements announced last month for international air travelers. The official said in a call with reporters, Canada on August 9th began following vaccinated U.S. visitors for non essential travel. Once the U.S. curbs are filled, non essential foreign visitors crossing U.S. land borders, such as tourists, will be able to visit if they are vaccinated. In early January, the United States will require essential visitors, like truck drivers, to be vaccinated to cross land borders. The official said U.S. lawmakers have been pushing the White House to lift restrictions that have barred non essential travel by Canadians across the northern U.S. border since March 2020, and many border communities have been hit hard by the closure. Mexico has also pressed the Biden administration to ease restrictions. On Friday, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said that the United States would accept the use by international visitors of COVID 19 vaccines authorized by U.S. regulators of the World Health Organization. It's hard to know when Kyrie Irving is getting his vaccination information. Hope it's not the same resources that had him convinced for a while in the earth was flat. True story, so maybe it wasn't much of a surprise Tuesday when science tripped up the 7 time All Star again, hemmed in by the New York City COVID 19 vaccine mandate that covers pro athletes and would have limited Irving to play road games only. The Brooklyn Nets gives him an ultimatum: A, get the shot, or B, take the 21 or 22 season off. The argument for A is pretty straightforward. The Nets are paying Irving US $34 million per year to blend in with Kevin Durant and James Harden, two of the best players in the game, and maybe deliver an NBA title to Brooklyn. But B is not bad either. Irving can stay glued to his couch and still collect a cool $16 million or so. That's because Nets general manager Sean Marks and owner John Tsai, who together decide a half a loaf approach wasn't worth the disruption, said Irving would be paid for road games where he would have eligible to play. Irving has ducked questions about where he was vaccinated, saying 3 weeks ago in a Zoom interview with reporters, I think just would love to keep what private, handle it the right way with my team, and go forward together with the plan. In today's weather forecast, we've got cloudy this afternoon. The temperature is now 19 degrees centigrade. And on Saturday afternoon, we're getting a chance of a shower. The temperature will be 14 degrees centigrade. That's all to report on weather. Have a good weekend, folks. And now back to Aiden's video gaming news.
Ah, man, I hope that the weather does clear up. I really don't want it to rain on Saturday or Sunday because we have some pretty important stuff that we have to take care of. And if it rains, oh man, it's going to be very wet and it probably will have to be canceled. But for your second video gaming news, this is actually a bit of a serious one. Billy Mitchell, a very famous pro gamer, best known for making the numbers on an arcade machine get really big, is going to court. The U.S. Appeals Court gave the green light yesterday for Mitchell to proceed with a defamation suit against Twin Galaxies, the popular gaming leaderboard site. Mitchell, for those who don't know, achieved fame for becoming the first person to supposedly set a perfect score, which is 333,360 points in Pac-Man. He also set several records in Donkey Kong in the 2000s, some of which were actually depicted in the 2007 documentary King of Kongs. And based on photographic and video evidence, he could easily nab a world record for the person who owns the greatest number of ugliest ties imprinted with American iconography or something along the lines, because his ties are quite ugly. But record keepers, including Twin Galaxies and Guinness Records, affirmed Mitchell's accolades, but evidence emerged that he may have used emulation devices, specifically MAME or MAME, which is a multi-arcade machine emulator, to achieve his scores, rather than the authentic arcade circuit boards that are required for competitive play. Guinness stripped his records in 2018, but unstripped them last year. Twin Galaxies, meanwhile, which stripped records as well, has yet to reinstate them. Let's hope that they do not. I hope it ends peacefully. We don't want a lot of issues to arise. Next up, though, we have Joshua, and Joshua has with us some world news and, of course, your very favorite animal news.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Youth Connect. Here's what's happening around the world. Russia hits new record high for daily COVID-19 cases, for daily COVID-19 deaths. Russia on Thursday recorded the highest daily numbers of coronavirus infections and deaths since the start of the pandemic, a rapidly surging toll that has severely strained the nation's healthcare system. The government's coronavirus task force reported 31,299 new confirmed coronavirus cases and 986 deaths in the last 24 hours. The country has repeatedly marked record daily death tolls over the past few weeks as infections surge amid a slow vaccination rate and lax for enforcement of measures to protect against the coronavirus. Prime Minister Mikhaila Mishustin said that about 43 million Russians, or just about 29% of the country's nearly 146 million people, were fully vaccinated. Russian President Vladimir Putin has emphasized the need to speed up the vaccination rate, but he also has cautioned against forcing people to get vaccine shots. Despite the mounting death toll, the Kremlin has also ruled out a new nationwide lockdown, like the one during the first months of the pandemic, which badly crippled the economy and hurt Putin's ratings, while assigning to the regional authorities the power to enforce coronavirus restrictions, as if there's a level of infection that would force the Kremlin to impose a lockdown. Putin's spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that each of Russia's 85 regions will make a decision depending on the situation. He noted that the country's healthcare system has resources and experience needed to cope with an influx of COVID-19 patients, adding that it would allow authorities to avoid lockdowns for as long as the healthcare infrastructure is not overwhelmed and remains in a working condition. Some Russian regions already have restricted attendance at large public venues and limited access to theaters, restaurants, and other places, but life remains largely normal in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and many other Russian cities with unrestrained access to restaurants, cafes, nightclubs, and other venues. Murashko said that more than 1.1 million COVID-19 patients are currently being treated at hospitals and at their homes, adding that the number is putting a high load on the nation's healthcare system. In the midst of the growing strain on the healthcare system, authorities have offered retired medics who were vaccinated to return to work, Murashko said. Overall, Russia's coronavirus task force has registered nearly 7.9 million confirmed cases and 220,315 deaths, the highest death toll in Europe. The official record ranks Russia as the fifth hardest hit nation in the world, following the United States, Brazil, India, and Mexico. Prince William tells billionaires, forget the space race and focus on saving Earth. Prince William delivered an apparent attack at the billionaire space race on Thursday, saying the world's greatest minds should be more focused on saving Earth than looking beyond our planet's horizons. In an interview with the BBC that aired early Thursday, the Duke of Cambridge warned of a rise in climate anxiety among young people around the world whose futures are basically threatened by the climate crisis. We need some of the world's greatest brains and minds fixed on trying to repair this planet, not trying to fix the next place to go and live, said William. The royals' comments came just a day after Star Trek actor William Shatner traveled aboard the Blue Origin rocket and capsule developed by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. It is crucial to be focusing on this planet rather than giving up and heading out into space to try and think of solutions for the future, he told the BBC. William has pursued an active environmental agenda as part of his royal duties, as have other members of the royal family. William created the Earthshot Prize, which aims to find solutions to the planet's problems through new technologies or policies. The first 5 winners, who will each collect $1.4 million, will be announced at a ceremony on Sunday. The interview also comes as world leaders prepare to gather in Glasgow, Scotland, at the end of the month for COP26, the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference. Queen Elizabeth and other royals will attend the summit, which has been billed as make or break for the global climate fight. We can't have more clever words, but not even actions, William said. Turning to science news. Star Trek legend William Shatner boldly went to space on Wednesday, becoming the oldest man to fly to the edge of space. The 90-year-old actor launched Wednesday aboard a rocket and capsule developed by Blue Origin, the private spaceflight company founded by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Shatner and 3 other crew members, Audrey Powers, Blue Origin's vice president of mission and flight operations, and 2 paying customers, rode Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket and capsule to the edge of space. Liftoff occurred at around 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time, and the entire flight lasted roughly 10 minutes. William Shatner says he's so filled with emotion after reaching the edge of space. Shatner recalled feeling jittery before liftoff and spoke about what it was like to accelerate to the edge of space. He also described seeing the planet's thin atmosphere and gazing back at the curvature of Earth. There's this soft blue, Shatner said. It's so thin and you're through in an instant. The mission was delayed by nearly an hour as crews at the launch pad worked to ensure that the rocket was ready for flight. High winds at the Texas launch site previously forced Blue Origin to push the expedition from its originally scheduled time earlier in the week. Wednesday's flight launched from a site in West Texas, southeast of El Paso, after liftoff the rocket accelerated towards space at 3 times the speed of sound. At an altitude of approximately 250,000 feet, the New Shepard capsule separated, taking Shatner and his crew members to the edge of space. After reaching a peak altitude of 351,000 feet, the spacecraft then descended under parachutes and landed again in the Texas desert. Turning to animal interest news, Australia's iconic marsupial is in trouble. The question may just be exactly how bad the country's koala situation has become. Nearly a third of Australia's koalas were wiped out in just the past 3 years, according to new figures released by a conservation group, though some experts say real numbers are hard to establish. It is no doubt that the animal's population is in decline as Australia confronts climate change and other issues. The country has lost an estimated 30% of its koalas since 2018 as a result of wildfires, drought, heat waves, and land clearing, the Australian Koala Foundation said. The non-profit conservation group urged the government to do more about what it is called a disturbing trend. It estimates the koala population to now be in range of 32,000 to 58,000, down from an estimated 46,000 to 82,000 in 2018. It said the worst decline was seen in the southeastern state of New South Wales, where it estimates the numbers have dropped by as much as 41%. The foundation said every region across Australia saw a decline in population. The koala is a plant-eating herbivore marsupial that lives mostly in eastern and southern regions of the country. It has become synonymous with Australians around the world. It was listed as a vulnerable species in parts of the country in 2012. Last June, a parliamentary inquiry determined that koalas in New South Wales could become extinct by 2050 unless the government immediately intervenes to protect them and their habitat. This is Joshua Show reporting for Youth Connect. That's it for me. Now I'll send it back to you, Aiden.
You know what? Taking care of our environment is so important. And if, a lot of things, even with the space race, some people have a lot of good points. Rather focus on our planet right now and what we can do to save it, rather than focusing on, what kind of other planets can we find and destroy? Because if you have that mindset, you'll just move on to the next planet with the same mindset. You don't want that. For our last video game news, we have our board game of the week, similar to our video game of the week. But guess what? It's a board game, and this board game is based off of a video game. So do I technically consider this a video game board game of the week? Man, that kind of confuses me a little bit. But this game or board game is called Minecraft Builders and Biomes. This game is quite interesting as you explore the overworld, face dangerous mobs, and mine resources to build fantastic structures. The world's best-selling video game, Minecraft, has been adapted into an easy-to-learn strategy board game, perfect for tabletop gamers and Minecraft fans alike. Each turn, players take 2 to 5 possible actions: explore the overworld, mine resources from a block of resource cubes, build structures, collect weapons, or fight mobs like Endermen and Creepers. In this game, you need to build carefully and fight bravely to win. The last standing player in the game wins. It's an interesting game because it actually is like a board game's take on Minecraft. It's basically seeing a video game become a board game. That's really interesting, and I might need to check this out for myself. It sounds like a really fun game because I really love Minecraft, especially modded Minecraft. It's my favorite. But if you guys enjoy it, I recommend it. You know what? I just want to say, if you have anything, or if you get the game and you're like, wow, I really like the board game that I got from Hydex, send us an email about it. And then, you know what? You never know. I might just be like, well, guess what? So-and-so bought this board game and said that it's absolutely fantastic. So you might show up in Youth Connect if you do that. But anyways, next up we have Nebraska. Nebraska has with us some movie and podcast news.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys today? My name is Nebraskan, and today, hello, everyone. How are you guys today? My name is Nebraskan, and I'm your host of the entertainment news. Let's get straight into our top story. And today's top story is our art news. So, this is the art news, and the art news is about a work by British street artist Banksy that sensationally fell shredded just after it sold at auction 3 years ago fetched 18.5 million pounds or roughly 31.5 million Canadian on Thursday, a record for the artist and close to 20 times its pre-shredded price. 20 times. Love is in the Bin was offered by Sotheby's in England with a pre-sale estimate of £4 million to 6 million pounds, 6.8 million to 10.2 million Canadian. After a 10-minute bidding war involving 9 bidders in the sale room and more online and by phone, it sold for 3 times the high estimate. The sale price of 18.5 million pounds, 31.5 million Canadian, includes a sales tax known as a buyer's premium. The piece consists of a half-shredded canvas and an ornate frame bearing a spray painted image of a girl reaching for a heart shaped red balloon. When it last sold at Sotheby's in October 2018, the piece was known as Girl with Balloon. Just as an anonymous buyer, a European buyer made the winning bid of £1 million, 1.7 million, a hidden shredder embedded in the frame by Banksy wide to life, leaving half of the canvas hanging from the frame in strips. The work quickly became one of Banksy's most famous, and Sotheby's sent it on tour to cities including New York and Hong Kong before Thursday's auction. But the 2018 buy decided to go through the purchase. Go with Balloon was originally stenciled on a wall in East London and has been endlessly reproduced, becoming one of Banksy's best known images. So I like this story. I love it. So I remember I saw a video in 2018 or something like that. It's just what happened was when the painting got sold, right, and immediately the painting got down and it shredded into strips. And they said, why not? Let's put it in an auction, and a European buyer bought it. So let's go to our second story. So before I go to my second story, I'd like to give you the fact of the day. So today's fact of the day is drum roll. So did you guys know that goosebumps are meant to ward off predators? So and our ancestors in the old age, they had long and big hair. So when they had goosebumps, their hair used to go up, and that used to ward off or scare predators, and that was a good thing because to defend themselves, right? But now we have short hair, so we can't do that. Even if we get goosebumps, we only get from till here. If you guys can see that, not a lot, but in the old age, it was till here. And that's simply awesome. So let's get to our second story. So today's second story is so, Montreal convenience store owner Robert Kim says the hugely popular Netflix series Squid Game hit particularly close to home. The South Korean show stirs up fond memories of childhood games and tasty treats. Though his walk down memory lane doesn't include the deadly violence depicted in what has become the streaming service's most watched series with over 111 million views, Kim and his wife decided to recreate the sugary delight known as Dalgona candy. So Dalgona candy is this size, it's round, and that Dalgona candy that plays a central role in the show's third episode, The Man with the Umbrella. If you have seen the show, you know. So once the couple mastered the technique and put it on display, the candy sold out within the first hour. Can you believe it? The show has turned Dalgona into a viral hit on social media platforms like TikTok, YouTube, even Facebook, as fans tried their hand at etching shapes out of the brittle honeycomb like candy that is made of melted sugar and pinch of baking soda. On the show, contestants have to successfully cut a shape out of the candy to save their lives. The 9-part thriller in which cash-strapped contestants play childhood games with deadly consequences on a bid to win 45.6 billion won, 47 million Canadian dollars, not that much. Was launched on Netflix less than a month ago. Now, Dalgona sits next to the cash register in a handmade display at Kim's store in Montreal's St. Henry neighborhood, where he can barely keep it in stock, which means he's getting good sales. And I just saw the news. And this is what happened. Yeah, I'm saying this again and again. Invent, right? I just saw a Toronto owner also, and now they're selling the Gona candy, and now they're letting customers to cut out the shapes if they do it sexual. If they don't, nothing happens, and everyone's now doing it. It was before in America and they were doing it, but now in Canada, when Mr. Kim did it in Montreal, now someone else has done that in Toronto. Now let's get to our third and final story. Before I get to my third and final story, I would like to give you guys the tip of the day. So today's tip of the day is taking care of your technology. So what I mean by that is you always take care of yourself, right? But now what about taking care of your technologies, right? Technologies, for example, computers are very expensive nowadays, right? So take care of the computer, clean it from the outside and also clean from the inside. What I mean by that, if you have useless useless files that you don't use that are old, just take care and just throw it in trash, because don't need a lot of storage, because computers and they get old and then things start to happen. So don't have a lot of storage. And what happens, for example, you buy a computer and you use it for 2 years. You're using the computer for everyday uses, right? Every day you're using the computer. But when the computer breaks or you break it, so be careful. You miss that computer because you do such a thing like a habit every day, right? So when you don't have that computer, you miss it and you feel empty, right? So take care of your things. So now let's get to our third and final story. So my third and final story is about Ghostbusters. While Ghostbusters fans patiently wait to return to the world of specters and spooks in long awaited sequel of Ghostbusters Afterlife, returning star Ernie Hudson have hinted that a fourth installment is already in the works. Though Hudson seems in the dark after the matter, he states he has now heard rumors that the studio plans to pick up the phone and call the Ghostbusters all over again, with a script already being written. With franchise forming the way it is, the news of another Ghostbusters outing should come as little surprise. But as a way it certainly suggests that Sony Pictures has a lot of faith in director Jason Reitman's upcoming efforts. Should Ghostbusters Afterlife do well financially, a fourth or fifth, if you want to count the 2016 reboot outing, could be hitting screens rather quickly. Of course, we currently know nothing of what the studio plans to do with Ghostbusters 4, but it would no doubt continue the adventures of the new characters set to be introduced in Ghostbusters Afterlife and played by Carrie Coon, Alfred Wolfhard, McKenna Grace, and Paul Rudd. Ghostbusters Afterlife is scheduled to be released by Sony Pictures in the United States on November 19, 2021, after being delayed 4 times from an original July 2020 date due to COVID-19. So please drop your comments, comment down below what you guys think about this. So honestly, from a business standpoint, right? I would have liked the movie to drop in the month of October, because Halloween, Ghost, and that would be nice, or end of October, 31st October, but they didn't because of due to COVID, like I said before. Yeah, and this is an anticipated movie. Everyone is hoping that this will turn out good. If it turns out good, they will make a sequel out of it. And yeah, and that's all for me. As always, this is Nebraska from Youth Connect. I'll see you all next week. Thank you very much. Take care. Back to Eden.
I must say, for your second news, the Squid Game thing, I think I'm gonna have to try the sugar honeycomb thing. I don't know. As when I was watching it, it just seemed very simple to do. But I don't know. It might turn out more difficult than I planned. So it will be pretty cool.
And Eden, honestly, it is. I've seen people do it, and like you said, it is difficult. It's not that easy.
You know what? I'm gonna have to definitely check it out. So let's hope you didn't get a circle. I feel like circles are the hardest to get out because they don't have sides.
No, circles are easy if you think
Circles
about
are easy?
Yeah, because triangles and the circle is just a line, right? You're curving. I know they're hard, but even umbrellas are hard because they have pointy angles and shapes, right? In my
Yeah,
opinion.
an umbrella would have been impossible.
Yeah.
But I won't reveal any spoilers because you need to listen to this show. But last person that we got to do the cherry on top of our Youth Connect. It is Jeffrey with his live music.
Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm going to be playing Hard Day's Night by the Beatles. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a job. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a dog. But when I get onto you, I'll find the things that you do will make me feel alright. You know I work all day to get your money to buy a thing, and it's worth it just to hear you say you're gonna give me everything. So why not shut them off? 'Cause when I get to you know I feel okay. When I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feeling all of me tight. How do you die? It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping just tonight. But when I get into you, I learn the things that you do will make me feel alright. So when I get into you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright. I'm home, everything seems to be right. I'm home, you are holding me tight. Woo! It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a dog. But when I get into you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright. Will make me feel alright. Make me feel alright. Make me feel alright. Will make me feel alright. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening. Oh, and back to you, Aiden.
My goodness, just listening to Jeffrey's music, it lifts your spirit and it just really adds that bit of musical creativity to your day. It really just adds that, ooh, I don't know. I love listening to Jeffrey sing. It's just so soothing to hear. But this has been the end of our Youth Connect, and I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
Anyways, guys, I want to say before we go, I want to thank my co-host. So thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Nebraska. And of course, thank you, Kevin. And we will see you all next week. Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.
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 Bye. See you
Bye.
next week.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank